Okay. Let's come into our seated position. Sit up nice and tall. And we'll start to focus on our breath. So just as you come into your comfortable seated position, just start to settle in here. You can close your eyes and check in. Just take notice. Take notice of what's going on outside your body, externally, your external landscape. Just kind of notice any sensations on your skin, maybe temperature or heat, cold, wind, any noises you hear. Just kind of notice the external landscape. And then we'll start to look inward, our internal landscape. You can notice, how are you feeling? Where, is there anything that's bugging you, like any particular area of your body? Yeah, usually as we age, there's always something, one pain replaces another. And just without judgment, just kind of notice how you feel. Just relax our jaw, soften our temples. Take your shoulders up towards your ears. Take them back and then float them down. And even here, you can have your hands on your knees. Kind of pull on your knees to open your chest. So even here, we're getting a little bit of a back bend and chest opener just by this simple movement. So opening up the chest. And then continue to follow your breath in and out. And it sounds like we've all had quite a week, quite a month, right? And we're already into February of 2021, and there's been some good things that happened, but we're all still struggling with other things that are going on. So let's do some mental clearing. Let's take our hands on the outside of our ears. Just kind of bring the fingertips, not the fingertips, the finger webs together. Your hands are kind of like a cup. Now we're gonna take a breath in. And as we exhale, bring your palms together. So the thumbs come right between your eyebrows. Take a breath in here. And then we'll take our thumbs to our heart center. All right, let's do that again. Hands behind the ears. Breath in. Exhale, quiet the mind. Collect your thoughts. Inhale. Exhale. Let's offer those thoughts to our heart. Now let's do that one more time. Hands behind the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Quiet the mind. Inhale. And exhale. We take those thoughts and we offer them to our heart. Just an effort to shut down our thoughts, shut down that chatter. It's those 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day or more during a pandemic, I would imagine, that swirl around in our head all day long, and just lead with the heart instead of our head. Even if it's just for a few moments in our day, if we can kind of come back to this when we feel like we're in a state of overwhelm, come back to your breath. See if you can offer all that chatter to your heart. Just take your hands back onto your knees. We had requests this morning, a little bit of everything, sounds like neck, wrists, arms, hips. So we're going to start with the neck, and we're going to take our chin into our chest. And then take your shoulders toward the floor. Now, if you'd like, you can take your hands on the back of your head and draw the chin into your chest. And then just stay here for a few breaths. Breathing in and out. And then go ahead and start to take your chin toward the sky. And then we'll take our collarbones toward the floor. Just go where you can with your chin toward the sky. Don't force it. Just breathe into it. Collarbones toward the floor. Now gently bring your chin back parallel to the floor. And sit up nice and tall. Now we're going to look over our right shoulder. Just keep the shoulders floating back and down. Nothing crazy here. We just want to keep the shoulders soft, but in line with each other. So the only twist that's going on is the twist in the cervical spine. And then bring your head back so the chin comes back to the center. And then we'll look over our left shoulder. And then bring your head back to center. Now we'll take our right ear to our right shoulder and take our head toward the front of our mat until the left ear and left shoulder meet. And then go back in the opposite direction. So just go from side to side at your own pace. And notice how this feels. As I said, it's been, we've got a lot going on these almost a year now. We've been dealing with this added stress, craziness, right? Uncertainty. So we're probably holding a little bit more tension. Maybe you'll notice it here. So it's always good to come back to your yoga. Next time an ear and a shoulder meet, stay there, and let's go backwards. Same thing, from one shoulder to the other. This is where you really may feel some tension, some tightness. So be gentle with yourself. You find a spot that's really tight, just let your head hang there. Breathe into it. And then move on. If you find another one, which you might, I did, just let your head hang there. And then move on. So just go again at your own pace. Working out all that tightness, stress. And then the next time an ear and a shoulder meet, stay there. And we're going to carefully bring our head up. And sit up nice and tall and just notice how that feels. Let's take our right ear back to our right shoulder. We're going to walk our right hand out to the right. And you can have a block here if you'd like. Then we're going to take the left arm up and over. Try to keep the left hip down. So the target area is here over on the left side. So your hand can be on or off a block. If you feel like this left hip is popping up, then use a block or a bolster. Press down through your left sit bone and reach through the left fingers. And then slowly come up. Sit here. We'll do that on the other side. Walk the left hand out, take the left ear to the left shoulder. And we're going to reach the right arm up and then over. So you're feeling this down, right even in the low back area on the right side, all the way up through the side body. Press down through your right hip. And then slowly bring your arm up and sit here. And now we'll go back to the other side. Right ear to right shoulder, right arm walks out, left hip stays down, and then we're going to take the left arm out, back, maybe down, maybe back and down. Move it around, maybe, kind of make a circle until you find that sweet spot in your upper trapezius. So right up around here, you're going to feel it. So you'll know when you get there. Just move your arm, make sure you get into that upper trapezius muscle. And breathe here. Don't pull on your arm. Just let it go back naturally. And as you breathe into it, maybe you can go a little bit deeper. So we're getting into the muscle, the tissue. Take your right hand onto your right ear and carefully bring your head up. Sit up tall. And just kind of notice the one from the other. So notice your left from your right. And then we'll do that on the other side. So carefully take the left ear toward the shoulder, walk the left hand out. We're going to take the right arm out and then back down, move it around so you find that muscle, the upper trapezius. And again, be gentle with yourself. Don't force it. Especially because there could be a lot of tightness here. Again, this is up in the shoulders and the neck area. So just breathe into it. Don't hurt yourself. And then we'll take our left hand onto our left ear and bring your head up. And again, sit up nice and tall and notice the right from the left. And just stay here for another breath. All right, so let's take our arms. We're going to work a little bit on our wrists for right now. We'll work on them again in a little bit. So right now, let's take our arms out. So our wrists are in line with our shoulders. And we're going to take our right wrist under our left. So you're crossing at the wrist, and then you're going to interlace your fingers. All right? Right under the left. So the elbows are straight. So more like this. Yes. Now we're going to bring our hands in toward our chest. So down and in, and then back out. And then out and in. So you're just going to go in a rotation. So you bring them in towards your chest and try to get that extension, which it doesn't matter how far you get. I don't get very far here. And then back out. So it looks like this. Let me turn this way. So you bring them in here and then back out, back in. And this is right here, I get more extension, right? So this is where we just interlace, but then we bring them in and then we're trying to take them out. That's where it's tight, right? You're going to feel, some of you might be able to open them out a little bit more. I'm kind of right here, gripping right here. So just go a few more times. Yeah, that's it. So this is really good for our wrists, really good for arthritis prevention, carpal tunnel issues. We don't really get into our wrists. So we use our wrists a lot. And the only time we ever notice it is if we have an injury, right? And we notice how much we use our wrists. Okay, so the next time they're fully extended this way, release. You can kind of shake them out a little bit. And then we'll do the other side. So that was right under left. So now we'll switch left under right, interlace, right? You got that? We're going to bring them in towards your chest and then back out. And you'll notice I just did that the more you do it, as you move into it a little bit more, you might get a little bit more range of motion, right? Waking up the wrists. Just go a few more times. Don't hold your breath. Make sure you're breathing. Right? This looks easy, but it's really, I really feel this in my wrist. Let's do one more. And then the next time the arms are fully extended, shake them out. And then you just place your hands on your legs. And notice how that feels, really waking up the wrist, right? A lot of activity in our wrist. So let's, we'll do a little bit more work on the wrist when we get on our hands and knees, but let's get our strap for right now. And just depending on the length, you can fold it in half if it's long. We're going to take the strap out in front, and then we're going to reach up and overhead. So just hold it here for right now. So right now your wrist should be over your shoulders or somewhere around there. If you need to take them a little wider, go ahead. And we're going to pull to the right and pull to the left. So you're going to feel this, lift the chest, right? Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Start to feel the heat right in the shoulders. Just pulling to the right, pulling to the left. Draw your navel in and up. Take the shoulders down away from your ears. If you feel like you're doing this, do this, right? Take the shoulders down. And then carefully bring your hands back down. And just keep the strap here, but just kind of notice how that feels. Just check in. Now we'll add the rotation. So we'll reach the arms up. This is where you're going to take your hands wider. We're going to reach up, and then you need it wide enough to get this here, right? Opening up the chest. And then go at your own pace on your rotation, up and back. Opening up the shoulders, lubricating the shoulders. Add the figure 8, right hand behind, left hand in front. Left hand behind, right hand in front. And then just go ahead and bring the strap in front. Take a breath here, and again, notice. So let's take our strap now and place it over the right wrist, like this, and we're gonna take a hold of the strap, like this. Now we'll reach our arm up. So we're gonna bend the elbow, and my elbow tends to kind of splay out here, so I'm gonna try to bring it in toward my ear, and that'll help me get my hand down my back a little bit farther. And then we can even take the tricep toward the front of the room. So take a hold of it, so we get that inner rotation of the arm. Now we'll take the left arm out, thumb can come down, and then we're gonna just reach back and find the strap. So take a hold of the strap with both, you have the left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top, and we're pulling down gently, and we're pulling up gently. Now lift the chest. This is opening the chest as we open the shoulders. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw your navel in and up. Activating the abdominals. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale. One more breath. And then slowly, carefully release. Sit here, kind of notice all that activity in the shoulders. Now we'll do that on the other side. So now we'll take the strap around the left wrist, hold on to it. Or reach the arm up. Bend the elbow. Again, I'm going to help it along. And I'm going to take my tricep toward the front of my room, just to get that internal rotation of my arm. All right, now left arm's gonna, right arm's gonna reach out, thumb down, reach around behind you, find your strap. And then just carefully pull down as you pull up. And it doesn't matter, we don't wanna walk the hands up so they're close to each other. We're really not going for that right here, especially if that's not even accessible for you, which it is not for me. So we're just really trying to open the chest. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, draw your navel in and up. And then one more breath. And let's take that off, release, bring the hands out in front. Put the strap aside. And again, sit here. Let's make our way onto our hands and knees. Pad your knees with a blanket if you need to. So stack your shoulders over your wrists, and our hips are going to be over our knees. So we're going to go back to the wrists a little bit here. We'll do one at a time. I'm trying to think of maybe this is the best angle. I'll go both ways. So, hi Molly. Hello. All right. We're going to take, and if this is challenging for you, there's things we can do. So let's try it first. We're going to take our left hand, we're going to turn our fingers toward our body. So I don't know if you can see that. So if I do it this way, maybe your wrist will not be able to go, or the heel of your hand won't be able to go onto the mat, right? So if that's the case, you can put a blanket or a towel or something underneath to get there, all right? So we're just gonna do one hand right now, so I'll face this way. So just carefully press down, all right? Now maybe you can lean back a little bit. You'll feel a little bit more stretch there. So just go where you can go. Your wrist will tell you. All right. I never said it was going to be pleasant, right? This can be pretty intense if our wrists are tight. So just be careful. And again, use a blanket, use a block, or I don't think a block would work very well. Just something, it might even just be just gently roll your mat up a little bit, and you may not even need that much padding. Okay, so carefully come on out, shake it out, and then we'll do it on the other side. So right now the left hand fingers are going to point forward. We're going to take our right hand, turn the fingers toward our body, and carefully ease into it. Again, maybe your heel of your hand won't go down onto your mat, so put something under there. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm right-handed, so I really feel this one. And if you want to lean back a little bit. Oh, okay. Whose idea was this? I think this was Ellen's. It's good. This is good for us. Couple more breaths. All right, now bring both fingers back, or bring your fingers back to where they are facing forward. You can shake it out a little bit. All right, now we're going to try both at the same time. And again, if this doesn't work for you, just do one at a time. We're not going to be here that long, but see if you can do both. All right, bring the left hand and then the right hand underneath your shoulders, so your fingers are pointing toward your body. And then maybe lean back a little bit. All right, let's stay here for one more breath. And carefully turn your hands back so the fingers are pointing away. And sit back on your heels. Let's just shake that out. If it feels good, you can, stretch it out. Maybe even do a couple rotations like we just did. Whatever feels good to shake that out. All right, so our wrists are nice and awake. All right, so let's come back to hands and knees. Let's take our tailbone toward our knees for cat pose. Push the floor away from you. Look up at your belly button. Turn your tailbone toward the sky. Broaden across your collarbones. Let the belly drop toward the mat. And let's exhale back to cat. Inhale to cow. And just go through that at your own pace. Going with your breath. Maybe move the hips into the action as you flow through cat-cow. Okay, so from here, just come back to neutral spine. Now walk your hands out toward the top of your mat. Our hips are going to stay over our knees. So try not to let them come forward. And there's some options here. We're going to lower our forehead down onto our mat. So again, if you need to, you can have a blanket or a block underneath your head. Reach the arms. Keep the hips over your knees. And some of you might want to just stay right here. Some of you might be able to turn your head to one side and your chest will lower a little closer to the mat. And then maybe if you want to go, if that feels easy, you can go a little deeper, take your chin to the mat and let your heart melt toward the mat for puppy pose. Shoulders float back and away. Breathe here. Stay here for a couple more breaths. This is again where you may feel a huge release. I always do in this pose. Opening up the heart's a big heart opener. A couple more breaths. I'm just checking in. Believe me, I love this pose. I could stay in this pose for a long time. But it's not everyone's favorite. And it might stir up a lot of stuff. Let's stay here for one more breath. And just carefully start to slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Coming back to neutral spine. Then we're going to just take a cat-cow again and stretch that out. Come back to neutral spine. Let's have a seat. And we're going to make our way onto our backs. So we're going to just do a little bit of the hip series to open up the hips before we stand up. So lower down onto your backs. Keep your blanket and strap nearby. Actually, we're going to use a strap right away. So on your back with your knees bent, take your thumb and forefinger on your hips. We're going to lift the hips up and just draw the tailbone toward our heels. Get a little bit more length in the low back. So hopefully you felt that when you just pick your hips up and you kind of we're just drawing the tailbone toward our heels. And then you can take your legs long. And we'll do a full body stretch before we start. So reach your arms overhead, hook your thumbs together, flex your feet so your toes are drawing toward your shins. Inhale, exhale, press through your heels, reach through your fingertips, lift the chest. Inhale and release. Cross the thumbs in the opposite way. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Hook the thumbs. Inhale here. Exhale, press and reach. Inhale, release. Reposition the thumbs opposite way and exhale, full body stretch. And then bring your hands back down by your side. And I actually do want to do one twist before we start with the hip series. So let's hug the knee up. We're going to take our left leg long, take the left hand on the right knee, and take your right knee over to the left. The right arm can extend out like a half T. Press through your left heel, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Now, if the right shoulder's popping up, pick up your left shoulder, see if you can get the right shoulder to come down a little closer to your mat. One more time, inhale, lengthen, exhale, nice deep twist, And then bring your knee up. And we'll take that foot to the edge of our mat. All right, other side. Left knee's gonna come up. Right hand on your left knee. Inhale. Exhale, twist over to the right. Left arm extends out. Pick up your right shoulder to get that left shoulder down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And one more. As you inhale, grow your spine long. And as you exhale, maybe you can get your left knee closer to the floor. And then we'll bring that knee up. And let that foot glide to the edge of your mat. All right, now we'll get our strap. So we're gonna take our strap, and we're gonna bend the right knee, take the strap around the heel of the right foot. And then extend the leg up. Extend the left leg long. So we want the left leg active, the left pinky toes pointing up. We're taking our inner left thigh toward the floor. And then the right leg is straight. So if you're coming too close to your chin and your knees bending, take it out so it's straight. And then flex your feet. So you want to feel this behind the knee, right? You're going to feel this in the hamstrings and then behind the knee. So that's kind of how you'll know where your leg is straight. So if it's bent, you're not going to feel that. All right. Lift the chest. So take the shoulders down into your mat. Lift the chest. Now we're going to take the right thigh bone away from our chin. And then the low belly up toward our chin. Now we're going to pull down on the strap and then press our heel into the strap to create that resistance. And then we continue to take the right thigh bone away. All right, stay right here. We're going to take both ends of the strap into our left hand. And we're going to take our right thumb into our right hip crease. So we're going to keep the heel where it is. We're going to keep the heel right over the hip. And now we're going to help push that right thigh bone away from our head. So before we were just doing it without any assistance. Now we're helping it along. So we're taking the right thigh bone away from our chin. And then the low belly draws up toward our chin. So we're creating some opening in the hip, a little traction. And breathe. Chest still stays lifted, so try to keep that left shoulder down. Now bend your knee, remove the strap, and take that leg long. And notice how that feels. All right, other side. So we're going to take the strap around the left heel. This time, right now, both hands, one's on the right, one's on the left. So we're using both hands on either side of the strap. The right leg goes long. Right pinky toe points up. Lift the chest, lock the shoulders down. Where is your leg? Is your knee bent? If it is, we're going to take it a little straighter. So we're going to feel this, especially when you flex your foot behind the knee. Draw that left thigh bone away from your chin. And now that you know where we're going with this, notice this. Without the thumb there, can you do that? We're taking that thigh bone away from our chin. We're going to put our thumb there in a sec, but we're doing it isometrically right now. And then the low belly draws up toward our chin. And then we'll take both ends of the strap into the right hand. And now we'll take that left thumb into our hip crease. So dig it right in there. Keep the left heel over the thigh, over the hip. And now we're going to take that left thigh bone away from our chin. And we'll take the low belly up. Lock the right shoulder down. Keep the chest lifted. Flex both feet. And then bend the knee. Remove the strap. Take that leg long. All right. We're going to take the strap back. On the right heel, left leg goes long. This time, we're going to come back to both ends of the strap into our left hand. The left shoulder locks down, chest lifts. Right thumb into your right hip crease. Flex your feet. Inhale. Now this time we're going to take our right heel over in line with our left shoulder. We're still taking that right thigh bone away from our chin, and we're drawing the low belly in and up. So now we're adding up. We're getting into the outer side of the leg, the abductor. Push that right thigh bone away. Flex your feet. Low belly draws in and up. Lift the chest. And you can stay right here. If you want to go a little bit farther in this pose while we're here, you can take your leg over to the left. So just carefully go over to the left. The right hip's going to pop way up, right? And then you can take your right arm out to the right. Just go, you can go here. Don't force anything. A lot more sensation. Now we're really getting into the IT band and the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius. I feel this in my calf muscle. Lots of sensation in this pose. So we're still keeping our chest open and lifted. Let's take one more breath. Now inhale. Exhale. Carefully bring your leg up. Bend the knee. Remove the strap. Take that leg long. And we switch. Other side. So back around the left heel. Straps come into the right hand. Left thumb in the left hip crease. Lock that right shoulder down. Keep your chest lifted. Flex both feet. Press that left thigh bone away. Inhale. And exhale. Take your left heel over in line with your right shoulder. So just across the body for the first few breaths. Lift the chest. Push the left thigh bone away. Draw the low belly in and up. The right leg, we don't want that foot to splay open to the right, so bring that pinky to the toe up toward the sky. So you feel your right inner thigh turning down toward the floor. Stay here. Work on this a little bit more, or you can take your leg over to the right. So the left hip's going to pop way up. You can take your left arm out. Just notice how this feels. Again, lots of sensation in this pose. We're getting into a lot of areas in our leg, our hips, hamstrings, IT band, butts. With more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your leg up. And bend the knee. Remove the strap. Take your leg long. All right. Now we're going to go with the external, then getting into the abductor. So I put a blanket here. You can use a pillow, a block even. And it really depends on how you feel. It's nice to have the added padding here. Now we're going to come back to the right heel. Both ends of the strap in the right hand this time. Both feet are flexed. That left leg is still active, right? We're pressing that inner left thigh toward the floor. That pinky toe points up. It's easy to forget about that leg. Lift the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Take your leg out to the right. Lower it slowly so the outer edge of your foot is parallel to the floor, and then the left hand can stay right on your left hip. Pull that hip down toward the floor. Keep the chest lifted. You can get your shoulders underneath your chest. Pull into the strap as you push into the strap. Pull the strap into your foot as you push your foot into the strap, just like one of the legs over our hip. And notice how this feels. One more breath. Inhale. Now as you exhale, use your core. Bring your leg up. Bend the knee. Carefully remove the strap. Take your leg long. If you're using a support, put it on the other side. And we'll switch back over to the left. Both ends of the strap in our left hand. Right leg goes long and active. Right pinky toes pointing up. And the inner right thigh drawing down toward the floor. Lift the chest. Flex both feet. Inhale. Right hand on your right hip to hold that hip down. And as we exhale, we're going to take our leg out to the left. Lift the chest. Oh. So I just noticed my right foot, and I just noticed it just automatically wants to just splay out to the right. So you might notice that too. So see if you can control that. Pick up the right toes. So the right pinky toes pointing up. Hold the right hip down. Lift the chest. These poses may look easy. If somebody saw us lying on the floor with a strap around our foot, they may think that this is super easy, but there's a lot of stuff going on in these poses. And a lot to remember, right? It's easy to forget about lifting the chest. Draw your navel in and up. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the leg up. Remove your strap, take your leg long, and stay here for a breath. You can put the strap over to the side. Just kind of notice how that feels. Lots of stuff going on in our hips. So let's bend the knees. I'll just do the last two of this series. So let's bend our knees, and we're going to take our right foot over to the right and let the right knee drop in toward the left foot. And check in here. So this is internal rotation. Your right hip's going to pop up, and this might be enough for you. Or maybe you can check to see if you can take your left foot onto your right thigh. Then we check our alignment. Make sure the right knee is in line with the right shoulder. That intensifies it when you put your foot there. So if it's too much, take your foot up. You can also put a blanket or a block underneath your right knee if you're feeling you need a little support there. Adding on, you can take your right arm overhead and then take a hold of your right wrist with your left thumb and forefinger. Inhale. Exhale. Low belly in and up. Nice deep breaths. I just got a reminder on Facebook today that it was 11 years ago today I started my yoga training, my yoga teacher training at Prana. So I had already been teaching at the Downtown Y and Hazard Center Y for at least 1 or 2 years. So some of you who are on here today, Andrea and Jennifer, and I think Becky too, have been with me for at least 11 or 12 years. All right, let's come out of this, switch sides. All right, other side, we're gonna slide the left foot over, let the left knee drop in toward the right foot. Check in first, make sure you're okay here. If this feels easy, you can take your right foot on your left thigh. And then check in again. Let's check our alignment. Left knee in line with your left shoulder. Maybe you can add on. Left arm overhead. Take a hold of the left wrist with your right thumb and forefinger. And lengthen, right? It's a nice long line from the left quadricep right up to the psoas and even the upper attachment of the psoas. And then I started at the club shortly after that. I think I've been teaching over there since, I don't know, 2006 or 2008. But I started with spin. Both places I started with spin. All right, let's uncross. Bring both feet onto the mat, knees point up. Take a breath. All right, now we'll let the right knee drop over to the right, and we're gonna tuck the right foot behind the left heel. So the right, now we're going into external rotation. You're gonna feel this here. And then if this feels easy, you can take your left heel in front of your right shin and let the left knee drop out. And again, if this feels easy, you can take your left foot onto your right thigh and let the left knee drop out. Check in here, how does this feel? Find the place that works best for you. You can keep your hands on your hips or maybe reach your arms overhead. You can take your arms wide or maybe hold on to your opposite elbows. Just play around with what you want to do with your arms. Low belly draws up. Come back to your breath. This is a good time to check in with the breath. If at any point this feels like it's too intense, back it off a little bit. There's lots of options. You can even just take your left leg straight. And then let's uncross. Bring your hands down onto your hips. And we'll switch sides. So left knee drops over to the left. Tuck the left foot behind the right heel. So that's, again, this is our first check-in right here. You're going to feel this external rotation in your hip flexor, and you can just stay right here. Or then play around with it. Maybe take the right heel in front of your left shin. For Sukhasana, legs, and if this feels easy, take your right foot onto your left thigh and let that left knee drop open. Hands can stay on the belly, maybe reach the arms overhead. In any position you want. Just arms straight overhead, maybe take them wide, or hold on to your elbows. Lift the chest. Ah. I think I complain about this one. This side's super hard for me in external rotation. And then let's uncross. Take your legs straight, bring your hands down by your sides. Just for a breath here. Kind of let all that process and notice how that feels. Then you can hug your knees in. Maybe rock side to side. Do whatever feels good here. It might feel good to take a happy baby. Butterfly legs, whatever feels good. You may just rotate the legs. Lots of work in the hips. As you know, we do this a lot. All right, and then bring your knees together. Let's roll over to one side. I'm gonna check the time. Okay, we're good. All right. So let's come onto our hands and knees. Okay. We're going to come into a lunge. So we'll take our right foot forward. And you can have your blocks nearby if you need them. So we're going to take our right foot forward. And we'll bring our hands onto our right thigh. Make sure that the heel is far enough forward so that you can take your tailbone towards your front heel. So you want to, again, feel this right here. We're going back into the psoas. So extension. Right, so flexion is Supta Pada Uttanasana, extension is right here. And then if you want, you can take your left arm up. So again, reaching up through the upper attachment of the psoas. Inhale, reach. Take your low belly towards your chin. Reach up. And then if you want, you can take your arms slightly over to the right. And then come up. Bring your hands down on your mat, on your blocks. We'll switch sides. So we'll take the left foot forward. Bring our hands up onto our leg. And again, you want it forward enough that you can take your tailbone towards your front heel. So there's a lot of space here where you're going to feel this in your hip flexor right here. And then if you want, you can take your right arm up. Or you can just keep your hands on your leg. And if you need to pad your knee with a blanket or a towel. Low belly draws up. Inhale. And then maybe take your arm over to the left. And then come up. Forward. Let's take our hands onto the blocks, on the knees. Come back to all fours. And let's turn our toes under. We're going to lift into downward facing dog. So to start, keep your heels high. Keep your knees bent. Take your chest to your thighs. Now look at your knees. Keep your neck long. Spread your fingers wide. And then take your tailbone a little bit higher. And then maybe you can straighten your legs. Or not. You can always keep them bent. That's fine. Engage your triceps. Turn your armpits in towards your ears. And take your back ribs towards your front ribs. So we want that concave action in the back. And then press through your right heel. Bend your left knee. If your knees are not bent. If your knees are bent, I think you can still do that with your knees bent. Just play around with it. Then you can do the opposite. Bend your right knee, press through your left heel. We'll just pedal a few times. Now look towards your hands, and we're going to walk our feet and our hands toward each other. Coming into forward bend to start. Now get your blocks. If you have two, that's fine. If you only have one, we can make this work. So from forward bend, we're going to come up onto our blocks, or maybe just one block. So we're in Uttanasana, or you can use your chair. Chair's good too. All right, so we're here, and then we're going to lift the chest. Keep your hips over your knees. Lift the chest. So again, back ribs toward the front ribs. Lift the chest. Inhale. Take your tailbone toward the long edge of your mat, the back edge of your mat. Feel the spine lengthen, and the head stays lifted, right? We don't want the head to drop, so everything is lifted. Ardha Uttanasana, root down through the soles of your feet. And then slowly, carefully bend your knees, come into your forward bend again. You can hold on to your opposite elbows, let the head fall heavy. And then take your hands on your hips and come up to standing. All right. So coming to Tadasana. And even check in here. We're just standing for the first time, but we did a lot of work in our legs, our shoulders. So just notice how that feels. Take the kneecaps up towards your hips. Take your low belly towards your chin, shoulders back and down. And then feel the crown of the head rise up. All right, so let's take our feet wide. We'll have a block and we'll take it behind the left foot. So left toes are going to point out toward the top edge of our mat, and the right toes are going to point in and up. Feet are on the same plane. Take your arms out. Lift the chest. Arms reach long. Reach as far as you can go. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Reach out over your block. Take your hand on your block, and your right hand can come onto your hip. If you don't need a block, it's kind of nice to have one, and there's 3 heights. You can always lower it if this is something easy for you. Or use a chair. So I have a chair here. You can use a chair if that feels even better. All right, so we're working on triangle, but also getting a little bit of a back bend here. So we're gonna take the back ribs toward the front ribs, stack the right shoulder over the left, and then even take the left ribs toward the right. So there's a twist. And then if you want, you can extend your right arm up. Draw the kneecaps up, so engage the legs. And your gaze can just be straight ahead or maybe up at your thumb. And then we take our left glute toward the right heel and lift the chest. And then slowly, carefully come up, bring your block with you. Bring your feet parallel to each other, and then we'll switch sides. So the right toes turn out, left toes in. Arms extend out. Lift the chest. Reach out. Inhale. Exhale. Reach out over your front toes. Start with your left hand on your hip. And we'll come into the pose. Now we take the right ribs toward the left ribs, back ribs toward the front ribs. So we're opening the chest and we're adding a twist. And then from here we check in. Maybe this feels okay, or you can take your left arm up and then find a gaze. Straight ahead, maybe up at your thumb. The right butt cheek draws back toward the left heel. Engage the legs. And then slowly come up. Bring your feet in line with each other. And then step your feet together to Uttanasana. Take a breath. So take your feet wide again. And let's get our strap. We'll face this way for now. So we're going to take our feet wide. Our feet are in line with each other, right? They're on the same plane. And you can start with your hands on behind you on your strap. So whatever length you want. And we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. And we're actually going to go into a back bend here. So we're going to slide our hands down toward our upper thighs. Right? Just go where you can go. It's just the guide, right? It doesn't matter if they go that far or not. So we're going to draw the navel in and up, engage your legs, and slide your hands down. Your chin can stay tucked, or if it feels good, you can let it fall back. So a little bit of a back bend here. Engage the core. Now inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Keep the chest lifted, reach the arms up where they'll go, and then start to take the crown of your head toward the floor. So the arms are going to come up. Some of you, I know some of you can get your arms up and over toward the other side of your mat. My shoulders do not do that. So just go where you can go here. Draw the kneecaps up, keep the legs active. So you're kind of on the front part of your feet. Try not to fall back too far in the heels. And kind of shift forward. And then release your strap, release your grip if you're not using a strap. We're going to take our hands underneath our shoulders, maybe on a block for some of us. Just depends, again, on our range of motion. So we're going to lift the chest, just like we did in Ardha Uttanasana. Lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Chin stays lifted. Tailbone reaches back. Even here, we don't want to fall back into the heels. We're going to come forward onto your balls of your feet. And then we're going to take the crown of our head back down toward the floor. Maybe your hands are on a block. And you can slide your hands to come in line with your feet. So your elbows are bent. And you're gonna hug your elbows in toward each other. Crown of the head is heavy. Maybe put a block underneath the crown of your head or a blanket. Draw the kneecaps up. Hug those elbows in to an imaginary beach ball between your arms. Hug them in. Hold it here. Hug, don't release that ball. Hold it. One more breath. Now walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your feet in slightly. Then you can take your hands on your hips, come all the way up, and then heel toe your feet in. Bring them back together. Take Tadasana. Then check in here. All right. So let's take a big inhale. Reach your arms up. Uttanasana. Root down to the soles of your feet. Take your low belly up. We're even going to take a little bit of a back bend here. So lift the chest. Shoulders back and away. Now take your elbows out in line with your shoulders. Keep the chest lifted. Keep your chin tucked. Can someone let her in, please? Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now even go deeper here. Take your elbows down toward your rib cage. Like a W almost we're making, right? Squeeze the shoulder blades together, but not so much that you're gonna hurt yourself, right? So feel this heart opener, low belly draws in and up. And if it feels okay, you can let your head start to draw back. Now inhale, reach your arms up. And we're gonna exhale, take an easy swan dive forward, coming back into a forward bend. Take a breath here. Hold on to your opposite elbows, or let the elbows or the arms just dangle. Take a breath here, in. And just let everything go here, loud. Ah. And let's do that again. Breath in. Big breath out. And one more time. And let it go. Release. Let that stuff go. See if you can just right now, just let it all go. I know we've been working already this morning, but if there's anything still there, let's let it just release. Release that weight of the world. Now take your hands on your mat and step back to down dog. Bend your knees, maybe wiggle your hips. And then from here, shift forward to plank. Plank can be on or off your knees, depending on what works best for you. We're still gonna take the back ribs toward the front ribs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Draw your navel in and up. If your knees are down, you're gonna still get the work here. We're still taking the back ribs toward the front. Draw your navel in towards your spine. If your knees are off the mat, keep your tailbone low. So you're really feeling this. We're feeling this in the abdominals, in the back muscles. If your hips are up here, then you're better off putting your knees down to get the benefit. So let's all put our knees down now, and then we're gonna lower all the way down onto our belly. Move. I got a lot of stuff here. Okay. So we're gonna take our chin to the center of our mat. Take your hands underneath your armpits. Now pick up your right foot and we're gonna reach it toward the long edge of our mat. Touch all 5 toenails down. Pick up your left foot, reach it back, touch all 5 toenails. So now all 10 toenails are touching the mat. So we're getting that, again, the internal rotation of the legs. Inhale and lift your heart. Now keep the shoulder blades drawing in. The elbows are hugging into our rib cage, kind of like they were hugging into that beach ball, right? Now it's our body. We're hugging those elbows right into the rib cage, like they're glued there. You can even take the hands, the palms of the hands, like you're trying to drag your hands back towards your hips. Inhale, lift. Now exhale, we're gonna go halfway down. Just let your spine melt into your body. Inhale, lift again. Touch your toenails down. So your knees will probably pop up off the mat. That's okay. What we're trying to avoid is really jumping into the low back here. Exhale, let the spine melt. One more time, lift. Maybe you can lift a little bit higher this time. Hug the elbows in. And then come all the way down and turn and look to the right. Find your strap, wherever it might be. Usually it's nearby, right? Because we use them a lot. So we're going to take the strap, we're going to bring it behind us, palms facing up. Now some of you, this is easy for you to interlace your fingers, and if it is, go ahead and do that. For the rest of us, like me, your shoulders don't really like that, use the strap. Chin comes back to the center of our mat. And we're going to inhale, lift the heart again, just like we did in Cobra. We're going to slide our hands down toward our knees. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Look to the gaze is just down at your mat. You should be able to shake your head no, so there's no tension in the neck. Lift the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And then if this feels okay, maybe you can lift your thighs off the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the chest. A couple more breaths. And then come all the way down, turn and look to the left. Put the strap over to one side. Turn your toes under and wiggle your hips if that feels good. All right, now we're going to do Uttanasana, but we're going to do one leg at a time. So maybe this is accessible to you. If it's not, if you don't like it, you can work on Cobra, go back to Shavasana. So if you want to give it a try, we're going to bend the left knee. And then we're going to reach back with our left hand. And then kick into our hand and lift the chest. So we're kicking, and maybe you can even extend your right arm out or just keep it on the mat. So right now we're just lifting the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together, flex your left foot. Breathe, don't hold your breath. It's easy to hold your breath in back bends, so make sure you're exhaling. All right, and then come down, release, and we'll switch sides. Bend the right knee, reach back with your right hand. And we're gonna kick, your left hand can be under your shoulder, kick into your hand. Lift the heart, squeeze that right shoulder and the left shoulder toward each other. Flex the right foot. And then come down. So you can do that again on both sides. If you want to do both, bend both knees. We're going to lift the heart, reach back, find both ankles or the tops of your feet. Or you can put a strap around the tops of your ankles. Once you have a hold of whatever you're holding on to, kick into your hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe you can lift your thighs, but you can leave your thighs down, really whatever works. And that beach ball now is between our legs. So now we're squeezing into that beach ball between our inner thighs. Kick into your feet, into your hands. Kick your feet into your hands. That's what I'm trying to say. The more you kick, the more you get that opening in the chest. And then come all the way down. Turn and look to the right, windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Now you can take your hands under your shoulders, push back and come into child's pose. Take your knees wide. Just let your head rest on your mat or a block. And just catch your breath there. All right. So come back onto your hands and knees. Keep your blocks nearby. So back bends are really important for back health. You might think it's the opposite, but actually forward bends, if you have active back pain, it's worse to do a forward bend than it is to do a back bend. And it depends on what's going on, so it's an individual thing, so don't take that as, I'm not a doctor, or a physical therapist, but back bends are really good, and they're also really good for us as we age. So we're doing a lot of back bends today. So let's take our hips over our knees. We're going to be on our knees, and you can have some blocks here. So we'll do a couple variations of this too. We're going to go into camel pose. So hands on your hips. Just like before, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And you can even take your thumbs into your low back and take your tailbone towards your knees. So that's automatically going to draw the belly button up towards your chin. We're going to lift the chest. You're going to start to look up at your ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And always, always an option to keep your chin tucked, like you've got a ball of yarn underneath your chin. Okay, so if that's better for your neck, do that. You don't have to let your head go back. If, though, this feels easy, maybe you can start looking up at the ceiling, maybe looking back a little further. Keep the chest lifted, keep the shoulders drawing in toward each other. Keep the hips over the knees. So this is option one. Stay right here if this feels good for you. If it feels easy, you feel like you go a little bit farther, maybe you can take your hand down onto a block or maybe on your heel and extend the right arm. So the left hand will go back, the right arm up. And help you go a little bit deeper. And then switch sides. So now the right hand will come down, the left arm up. Or maybe some of you can reach back and find both blocks or both heels. Just remember to bring your hips back over your knees. And then you can maybe look back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Low belly draws up towards your chin. Oops. And then come all the way up. And let's take child's. Take your knees wide. Tailbone's going to draw toward the heels. Coming into child, take your arms out long. Walk your hands over to the left and then take your left hand on top of your right hand. Bring them back to center and then over to the right. Then you can take your right on top of your left. And then come on back to center. Come back up onto your hands and knees. And let's just make our way all the way over onto our back. Keep a block, bolster, pillow handy. And then we're going to lower down onto our back. All right, so we're going to take our strap. We're going to do a bridge pose, a couple variations of bridge. So first variation is regular bridge. And for some of you, you might want to take your strap underneath your body. Some of you can interlace your fingers, and you don't have to do either. So let's start together with our hands just on the floor. So right now, your hands on your mat, lift the chest. Walk your heels towards your hips, towards your butts. Root down through the soles of your feet, and then we're going to lift the hips up. Now pick up the right shoulder, walk it underneath the chest, pick the left, walk it underneath. This is where you can decide what you want to do with your hands. They can just stay right here, or some of you can interlace your hands underneath your hips, or you can take a hold of your strap. Now turn your palms up on the strap so they're facing up towards your ceiling, but the knuckles are touching your mat, so don't let the hands kind of float in space. You want the hands down, squeeze the shoulder blades underneath your chest. Draw your quads towards your hips towards your chin, low belly towards your chin. And then that beach ball now is between our inner thighs again. So we're squeezing into that. Lift the chest. And then slowly come down. One vertebra at a time. Tailbone can come down last. Stay here for a breath. All right. So we're going to do another variation of that. You can do that again if you'd like. We're going to do supported this time. So you're going to walk your feet in, and you can take your block and lift your block, lift your hips up. So you're going to take the block right on your tailbone. So you've got the lift here. So you don't want it up on your low back, you want it on your tailbone. Now, for some of you, it's hard for me, I don't know if it's because I'm short or what. You can take it a little, I guess I got it here. You can take the block on the highest height, that's okay, but you want to make sure that your shoulders are touching, right? So for some of you who are a little taller, I'm getting a Charlie horse, this may be a little easier for you. I don't particularly love this. So I'm going to go down one height. I'm going to go down in the middle, okay? All right. So now we're here. Crawl the shoulders. So we want to make sure our shoulders are on the floor, chest is lifted. Palms can face up. Now we're going to slide the right leg long. And then we're going to slide the left leg long. And if you want to go even lower on your block, go ahead and make that adjustment. If the middle height's too high for today, make that adjustment. I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades in toward each other. Lift the chest. Low belly's going to draw in and up. Just stay here for a few breaths. At any point, if you need to bend your knees back in, go ahead. Trying to keep the pinky toes pointing up, just like we do in our hip series. The legs are active. One more breath. The chest lifted. And then slide your feet back underneath your knees. Pick your hips up slightly, remove the block. And then we're going to lower down slowly. Upper back, middle back, lower back. Come all the way down. Take your feet wide on your mat. Let your knees drop over to the right. And then bring them up and drop over to the left. And just go from side to side at your own pace. And bring your knees back up. Let's hug the knees into our chest. Take your right ankle over your left knee and slide your right hand through, clasp behind your left thigh. Flex both feet, draw your left knee towards your chin, and then use your right elbow to press your right thigh away. And maybe even take your leg slightly over to the left. While you draw that left knee in, you're going to feel a deeper stretch in your piriformis. And then bring your knees up and switch sides. Left ankle over the right knee. Reach through and clasp behind your right thigh. Draw your right knee towards your nose. Use that left elbow to press away. And then you maybe take your legs over toward the right. Keep the chest lifted even here. Notice what's going on in your hips here. And then let's bring the legs back up, uncross. Place your feet down. Take your arms out. We'll do one last easy twist. So, or if you're done and you want to just get ready for Shavasana, go ahead. If you want to do the twist, just scoot the hips over to the right. You can take your knees over to the left. Or any other twist that you like. Bring your knees up. Hips will come over to the left and take your knees over to the right. And then bring your knees back up. Hug them into your chest. Take your forehead to your knees. Give yourself a big hug. And then find Shavasana. So any option that you prefer, you know what they are. Nobody's new here today. So you can put your knees together. Maybe roll a blanket and put it underneath your knees. Take your legs up onto your chair or your couch. Once you get settled in, and scan your body. Relax your fingers, relax your toes, relax your jaw. Soften the temples, soften your face. And then let everything go. Just let your entire body melt into the earth beneath you. Now ring the chimes 3 times when it's time to come back out of Shavasana. Begin to awaken your body. Begin to Bring movement into your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms overhead. Maybe even yawn. When you're ready, make your way over to your right side. And at your own pace, come up to a comfortable seated position. And just sit here with your eyes closed for the next few moments. And remember how you felt when you checked in and kind of compare it to how you feel now. Just notice all the changes in your body, in your mind, since you got on your mat this morning. Let's take our hands to our heart center. And thank yourself for getting on your mat today. Thank yourself for doing all these great things for your body, for your mind, for your spirit. And I thank you so much for letting me guide you in your practice every week. I love seeing you guys here. Thank you for joining this morning. Have a beautiful weekend. Namaste. And thanks, everyone. You can unmute if you'd like. Oh, man.
I'm gonna floor, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.